Hello there. Welcome back to grade 11 Business Studies. In this video, we're still working on the question paper of November 2023, and we are still working on paper one. So, this question paper that we have, we are looking at the second part of the question four on this question paper, that is on business operations. And we are going to start with our 4.5, which is saying state and four types of packaging. So, we have got types of packaging that we need to list, and our question has got 4 marks. So obviously, we need 4 points as stated. But trying to define packaging, we know that packaging is defined as material used to wrap or protect goods. So the material that we use to wrap or protect goods have become the packaging. And the process of, you can also try to explain it from the point of view that is the process of putting products into containers so that they can be sold or sent somewhere. So this can wrap up the explanation on packaging. Then, obviously, the question is asking for types of packaging. We've got different types of packaging that we can see. We also use packaging for double use. It's one of the packaging types, and then we also have combination packaging. So, we go to another section and try to see all the packaging that we have according to this video. So, I'm going to our answer section. You'll see that we have got types of packaging, and we are seeing that these are with 4.5. Let's just try to see what we have. So we have packaging for immediate use or the unit for double use, and we've got packaging for resale, and we have frequently changing packaging and combination packaging. So you'd see that explanation on a packaging for double use. Packaging for double use, we can explain it as packaging in an innovative way. So when we are using packaging for double use, it's an innovative type of packaging to provide more for customers through use of packaging that serves purposes beyond the protection of the product. So the packaging is serving purpose beyond the protection of the product. So it means that packaging can be used for other uses. That is packaging for double use. Then you look for a combination of packaging. Combination of packaging, you see that this is a type of packaging that consists of one or more inner packaging secured with an outer packaging. So when we have an inner packaging and also have an outer packaging, for example, we can talk about a box and then we put bottles inside the box. So the box becomes the outer packaging, and then the bottle becomes the inner packaging. So this is what we have in terms of combination packaging. So these are the type of packaging that we have. And then we can try to look at the next question that we are having there. Look at 4.6. It says outline the selection procedure as a human resources activity selection procedure. So obviously, this selection procedure is through the recruiting. When we are recruiting new workers, we are recruiting new workers. Obviously, there is a process from the application up to the selection stage of those workers. So we have the stages being outlined according to this video. So we can go there and try to see what stages do we have when we are selecting. So we have got two options that we can use when you are selecting. Two options. We have got option one, and then we have got option two. So we can start by option one and try to see the steps that you need to follow when you are selecting. First, you determine fair assessment criteria on which selection will be based. So obviously, before selecting, there should be ground rules in terms of what are we supposed to follow during the selection process. So that is the first point that we have. And then we go to the second point, whereby the second point is saying applicants must submit and certified copies of personal documents. It might be personal documents in the form of IDs, proof of qualifications. Those are the personal documents that we have. And then we go to the next point, sort the received document or CVs according to the assessment or selection criteria. So we are saying after receiving the CVs, you sort the received documents. So according to selection criteria that we have set at first, remember at first we said determine their fair assessment criteria. So on the third point, we are now saying you now sort the received documents according to selection criteria that you put down. So next point, yeah, it's saying screen which applicant must meet the minimum job requirements and separate these from the rest. So you try to check which applicants do meet the required job the minimum job requirements and separate these from the rest. So it means that you are going to shortlist them because they meet the requirements of what you need. Then the next point You see that on the next point. Let's try to see. Next point reads preliminary interviews. Preliminary interviews are conducted if many student applications are received. If you have got more than what we expected in terms of people who are qualifying for the job, it means that we should have preliminary interviews. So this is an earlier stage of screening them so that we are left with the more appropriate ones. So we are having preliminary interviews. Then the next one, reference checks will be made to verify the content of CVs, e.g. contact, we should make contact the references, contact previous employers to check work experience. So we should also try to see so that we get in contact with the previous employers of those people so that we can verify whether the what is the detail of the CV, is it a true reflection of what really transpired during their earlier workplaces. So this is what we have on this point. Then we can try to move on to the next point that we have there. So next point, you should compile a short list of potential candidates identified. Then you make a short list. The next one, shortlisted candidates may be subjected to various types of selection tests, e.g. skills tests. Then are those shortlisted now, shortlisted potential candidates are now then assessed to see whether they are fit for the job. Then after that, an interview is done after that, and then a written offer is made to the selected candidate. So obviously there should be a winner in terms of that interview. That is the one that is supposed to have to receive an offer letter. Then finally inform unsuccessful applicants about the outcome of their application. So unsuccessful applicants should also be notified that they were unsuccessful. So this is a rundown of the option one. Then we also have option two in terms of the selection. Option two now reads, we have got the first point is saying receive documentation such as application forms and sort it according to the criteria for the job. So obviously for every selection, there should be a criteria that is set before we start recruiting. So the first one is saying receive documentation such as application forms and sort it according to the criteria of the job. So the second one, evaluate CVs and create a short list. So obviously we have to evaluate the CVs and then we come up with a short list of possible candidates. Then check information, issue of contact references. Again, you see that it's a very important procedure. We have to contact the references to verify if the information given on the CVs is it a true reflection of what really transpired in their previous workplaces. So very correct. Then we go to the next one, preliminary sifting interviews to identify if applicants who are not suitable for the job, although they meet all requirements. So on this stage, we are now saying we have got applicants who are meeting the requirements in terms of the job requirements. Maybe they have the qualification that we need, but they do not qualify in some way. Maybe because of the magnitude of their experience is not up to scratch, and some other elements that we might see are not a fit for the job that we are advertising. So this is what we have in terms of this point, conduct preliminary sifting interviews. So these are just short interviews that are done so that we eliminate some candidates who are not who are possibly not up to scratch, up to the position that we are publicizing. So this is what we have in terms of this point. Then we go to the next point, assess candidates we have applied to ensure that we conduct interviews with shortlisted candidates. Then obviously the interview is done. Then next point, offer employment writing to the selected candidates. So this is what we have in terms of the last point. Now an offer letter now is given to the selected candidate. If there are many, also all of them they are given the offer letters. So this is what we have on the option two. So we have an option one and option two. So you can just choose which one you can try to use in terms of the question that we have. Remember our question. Go back to our question. You see that our question is got 4 marks. So obviously you can just list those points. List at least 4 points of those are option one and option two. So we go to this 4.7, which is saying read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. We are given an exercise that we are given there for soft blankets, which is SB. And these soft blankets specialize in manufacturing of blankets. The management ensures that SB comply with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. SB ensures that their first aid boxes are always available. They also make fire extinguishers available in the workplace. So this is information given, and then the question reads: what 2 ways in which SB complies with the Occupational Health and Safety Act? So we know that the Occupational and the Healthy Safety Act aims to protect the well-being of workers and is enforced by the Department of Labor. We know that it's enforced by the Department of Labor, and its main aim is to protect the well-being of workers. So it is a practice that we would also want to explain it from the point of view that it is a practice attempt to prevent and avoid work-related injuries and also to avoid illnesses. So that is what we call the part of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Then the question is saying, quote two ways in which SB complies. So we go to the information there and see where exactly do we have SB complying with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So if you go to this sentence, you'll see that we try to see we have this sentence from here saying SB ensures that their first aid boxes are always available. That's the first reference that we have where they are complying with their occupational health and safety. Remember, first aid, they are trying to protect the workers also in the event that we have in a sudden illness that has taken place. So then on the last point, they also make fire extinguishers available in the workplace. So this is also, they are trying to protect the worker of in the event that there's a fire that is just erupted in the workplace. If fire extinguishers are there, they're going to protect the worker. So this is the second part. So going to our answer section and try to see 4.7.1, we see that we have an explanation that is really explaining that. First point saying SB ensure that their first aid boxes are always available. So which is the first one. Which is showing compliance with the Occupational and Health Safety Act. And then the second one, they also make fire extinguishers available in the workplace, which is the second point. Then we move on to the next question, which is 4.7.2, using the act. So we've got many other ways again that they can use to comply to the Occupational Health and Safety Act. So we have them here listed in point form. They can provide with protective gear to protect themselves against potentially dangerous situations. That's the first one. That's the first one that we have. The second one is saying fire extinguishers need to be serviced regularly. They need to be serviced regularly so that in the event that we have fire, they are in good condition. So we move on to the next one, which is saying machinery must be maintained at regular intervals and repaired promptly. So obviously the issue of maintaining machinery is to ensure that they are in good condition, they are working properly, so that they do not hit the workers that are using them. So exactly that. So this is what we have. Then on the next one, employers who employ more than 20 employees must appoint at least one healthy and safety representatives for every 100 employees. Very important to take note. So that's the representation that we have. For every 100 employees, we should have at least one representative of occupational and health safety. So this is the second from last point. Then last point is saying ensure healthy and safety of persons at workplace and during the use of plants and machinery. So this is just highlighting, that's all emphasizing on the issue of safety of workers when they are using the machinery in the production process. So this is the last point that we have, which is 4.7.2. Then we move on to try to see on the next question, which is saying recommend precautionary measure that business should take when handling machinery. So when handling machinery, what precautionary measures should we take? They are very important. We can just try to see in terms of what we have in terms of that question. Coming here, you would see that the first point reads workers must be properly trained on how to use machinery and must be informed about the risks when using the machinery. So this is the first point that we have. Proper training should be there so that workers know how to use the machinery, because most of the injuries will come in the way that there is inability or in the use of those machinery that might result in injuries. So this is what we want the first point. The second point, regular safety checks must be carried out and the machinery should be maintained and serviced regularly. So the machinery should be monitored and serviced regularly so that they are not out of proportion and they are in good condition every time. So next is workers need to wear protective clothing and gear such as overalls. So these are some of the protective wears that workers should wear. We've got overalls, hard hats, and safety helmets. We've got welding goggles and gloves when working with machinery and equipment. So they are protective clothing that should wear. So this is a rundown table of examples of protective clothing that should be taken into account when workers are working. So this is the point that we have. The next one is to develop a culture of safety in the workplace. So basically, we should develop a culture that safety. We should put safety first when we are working with dangerous equipment, equipment that needs a caution when we are using them. So with that, workers are always aware that we should take caution when we are using this machinery. So this is the second from last point that we have. The last one, familiarize employees with the safety procedures. So obviously, in terms of familiarizing, maybe from one point to the other, we are just having some refresher discussions in terms of safety precautions that needs to be taken place in that workplace, so that workers are up to date on the requirements of how to operate these machineries in the production processes. So this is the last point that we have according to this question, and this marks the end of our questions that we have according to this video. Thank you for listening. Hopefully the video was helpful. Let's stay tuned for more videos to come. Let's not forget to subscribe and share. Let's share the link to our colleagues who are doing the level and business studies. More examination questions are going to be uploaded on this channel. Let's stay tuned. Let's get notified. As for this video, I'm signing out. Let's meet again in the next video.